All right, welcome back to the channel. Subscribe, smash that like button, show the love, and I'm gonna dive in and explain why you should not pay off your student loans. Now, first and foremost, I do want to preface and say I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just a guy, and this is how I did it, okay? The whole video is how I made over $100,000 over the past 3 years from not paying off my student loans. Am I suggesting that you should do this exact same thing? You can do whatever you want, okay? And what I love about money, before I get into how this happened, what I love about money is that it's not a science. If money was a science, we'd all be rich. There'd be a formula that you could plug in and you could follow to a science. It's not, though. Money is not. Money is a psychology. And so first thing, I would look up the book Psychology of Money. I would also look up the book The Defining Moment, and I would check both of those books out and just uncover more of your financial and money beliefs and things like that, and how you operate with the numbers on a bank account, etc. Now, how I made $100,000 by not paying off my student loans is this. Let's go back in time, okay? Timeline, it's fall of 2020, and I just dropped out of college, okay? So that August, I dropped out of college with 2.5 years in or so. You know how it is. The students that are like, you know, oh, I'm a junior, but technically I'm a senior because I took credits in high school. So that was me. I had credits in high school. I don't know. I was there for 2 full years. I had 27 credits left. So I dropped out with 27 credits left to graduate. And I remember at the time, there were a lot of people that specifically said to me, like, you're so close. Why wouldn't you just finish? Why wouldn't you just finish? Now, that's a whole different video that I could talk about, the sunk cost fallacy of life. I don't believe in sunk cost. I think that it's a misconception that especially with college, that if you don't get the piece of paper, it wasn't worth it. I was exposed to people that connected me with my first sales job, obviously, when I was there, friends that I still have to this day, networking opportunities. I worked for the Minnesota Vikings for a little bit. A lot of my life happened because I went there, and so was it worth my investment? 100%. Now, what was that investment? Okay, breaking down the numbers. I took out $28,000 of student loans over the 2 years of going to Mankato. So $28,000 is what I owe in student loans. So still to this day, by the way, I still owe like $27,000. So I didn't pay anything for the years it was paused. And now still to this day, I pay the very minimum monthly payment every single month. And why I would suggest that you do the same. Again, do whatever you want, okay? Don't come at me like, this is a stupid strategy. Say what you want, okay? Here's what I did. In the fall of 2020, I bought my first house in St. Paul, Minnesota. I put 5% down using a first-time home buyer loan. The house is $230,000, 5% down, okay? I paid out of pocket somewhere around $13,000. Now, that $13,000 was out of my bank account. So I want you to picture this. I owed $28,000 in student loans. At the time, I actually had $30,000 saved from that summer selling Cutco, okay, working with Cutco as a branch manager. So I had $30K saved. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because somebody said to me last weekend, yeah, this summer my goal is to pay off my student loans. I said, how much do you have in student loans? She said $30,000. And I was like, hold up. I was like, let me tell you a story. And I figured this video would serve a lot of people who might be in the same boat. Now, what I told her was this. I said, hey, instead of paying $30,000 off the loans and just washing that away, I took $13,000. I bought this house. While I was living in the house, I had renters paying me the whole time. So just to make it easy, let's say that I bought that in January of 2021. It was like November after closing all that. The first renters I had were January. For the next 3 years, so we'll make it 36 months just to be even, from January 2021 through the end of 2023, so 36 months, I had 4 rooms that were full, and I lived there. So it was a house hacking situation where 4 people were paying me rent over the course of 3 years. And there were times at the dream house, we had 5 people there, we had 6 people there. And for people that are nervous about like house hacking, I put an ad on Facebook when I bought the house. I had over 300 people message me to live in the house. As long as, I mean, I don't know your area, but if you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, I had a lot of people reach out. And I had to vet out who was a bot and who was real. And I had to, do background checks and all that. And that took some time, but I ended up with 3 really good renters at first, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. Over those 3 years, I had people paying me rent every single month. So let's say it's 4 bedrooms and I was charging $600 per room. That's $2,400 in rent coming in every month. My mortgage at that house was $1,200 for the first couple years. Now, value's gone up, my mortgage has gone up a little bit, but for the most part, it was $1,300 a month in my mortgage, and I had $2,400 coming in. That's already paying off the mortgage and giving me another $1,100 of excess money. Just to make this round numbers, even though I'm rounding down, let's just say I had $1,000 of excess money coming in every single month. Now, what's happening in a house hack is I lived there. So I got to put 5% down. I lived in the house. I got the rent. The rent paid the mortgage. So $1,300 mortgage paid off every month. And I had $1,000 extra. So for 36 straight months, this is the first way that money was coming in by doing this. For 36 months in a row, I made $1,000 of income, profit from that house. That's $36,000 so far. In the same time, those rent payments were covering my mortgage. The mortgage pays down my loan. And so at the time, I bought the house for $230K, $13,000 down. That's a loan, $217,000 or whatever. Over the past 3 years, I've chipped away about $15,000 of equity on that loan. So now not only did I make $36,000 over the last 3 years, but I also gained $15,000 of equity back in the house. That brings us to a grand total so far from 2 different streams of income, $36K plus $15K. We're already at $51,000. Remember, I invested $13,000 to make this happen. So my $13,000 has already turned into $51,000. That student loan payment situation hasn't been touched. Okay. Now, the missing piece of all of this is houses appreciate over time if you're in a good area or whatever. So on top of the money coming in, number one, the chipping away at the loan, number two, the house has appreciated in value $70,000 over the past 3 years. So now we take $51,000 plus another $70,000 of value in the home, and we're up to $121,000 of difference in my net worth because I bought that house. This also does not factor in living for free. So let's just say that I was in a high, pay area, and let's say it wasn't $600 a month that I was paying. Maybe you on this video, maybe you pay $1,000 a month in rent. Well, I saved that every month because I live for free. So that's 36 months in a row times $1,000 a month. That's another $36,000. We are somewhere now over $150,000 of difference in my net worth because I bought that house to house hack it. Okay. This whole conversation doesn't even include the opportunity cost that is created for me with that money. So something that I like to post about on my social medias is the first 3 houses that I got was averaging like $50,000 a year of income. How that's possible is because that $150K swing, all of that money then can be used in other opportunities. That's where the second Airbnb came from, the third Airbnb, the fourth setup now. So that opportunity cost was created out of not paying off my student loans. Now, is it black and white? Don't pay off your student loans because you can buy a house, or I couldn't have done this if I paid off my student loans. Not necessarily, but the whole point of the video is to show you that there's an opportunity cost to not understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. If your student loans are at 4% interest rate, I'm telling you right now, you should never pay that off. Because you can simply, in this day and age, there are savings accounts that give you 5% interest. So let's say that you took out $1,000 for student loans. It's charging you 4% interest. Over the course of, we'll call it 10 months or whatever. Okay, let's just say 4% of $1,000 is $40. Now, if we went up to $100,000 in loans, let's just scale this. Let's say you had $100,000 of student loans at 4% interest. Well, 4% is $4,000. Now, you could take that $100,000 and instead of paying off the loans, you could put that into a 5% interest savings account, and that money would make you $5,000 over the same time horizon. So you just profited $1,000 from interest rate arbitrage. Now that's the smallest example right there of 4% versus 5%. But what if you put that money into a money market account? So this girl, I said, if you made $30,000 this summer and your student loans are 4%, putting that $30,000 into covering your 4% is one of the dumbest things you could do, because if you put that money just in the market, you could put it in the market for 10% gain. That's a 6% difference right there. Now, why do people say pay off your credit cards first? Because those interest rates are 29%. So even just a simple way to look at money is, what is the interest rate here compared to there? Because you can interest rate arbitrage all day. So it's probably another video, but I appreciate that you're here to kind of hear this story, and hopefully it kind of gets your mind turning a little bit about not all debt is bad. Dave Ramsey is specifically talking to a group of people who are in debt. And so when he talks about debt is bad, cash is king, to the person who has $100,000 of credit card debt, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is Dave Ramsey an idiot? No. But does that apply to every single person in every single situation? Absolutely not. And that's the wider that's the wider theme with money, is that you can't apply to every person in every situation because there's no science to it. There's a psychology to it. Can you sleep at night knowing that you have $30,000 of student loans? If the answer is yes, don't pay them off. If you can't sleep at night knowing you have student loans, pay them off. Okay? It's all psychology. So that's why I say look up the book Psychology of Money. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Press the like button, press the subscribe button. We'll see you next time on the channel. I appreciate your support. AlexRFunk.com, it's almost done. TheDreamsList.com, it's almost done. My book is almost out. So stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you next time.